Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. What you are looking at right now, for those listening on podcast, Rebel News journalist Alexa Lavoie is about to ask MP Ahmed Hussen a question. You will not believe his answer.
Heard, mister, about the Israeli government
I don't talk to
warning?
Rebel News. No, you're not a real
You-
journalist.
you-
It's not real news. Leave us alone. It's not real news.
I'm sorry. Do you believe that
Can you leave me alone?
that public servants should be accountable?
Leave me alone.
Do you believe on the freedom of press? Do you believe on freedom of the press?
You're not a real journalist. Stop pretending to be one.
What
You're not
do
a
you
real
mean
journalist.
we are not?
You're not.
We are
You're
bringing
not. You're-
politicians accountable.
You're not a real journalist. Rebel News is
So you
not
don't
a real,
believe on freedom of the
you're
press?
not, but you're not press.
I'm
You-
press.
You are not.
Yeah, I
you're
do.
not. You're registered as a lobbying.
So what is it for you, a
organization.
journalist?
You're not.
What is
a
it for
me-
you, a journalist?
A non-partisan media house that's recognized.
So you think that CBC is completely
Rebel News
neutral?
is not a
So
journalism
you think that
outlet.
CBC is neutral?
You're not a journalist. Stop
I'm
pretending
asking
to be
you.
one.
Journalist.
Wow.
Yes, that is
Anyway.
very, very frustrating. That's Ahmed Hussen. Ironically, telling Alexa Lavoie she's not a journalist, not understanding how that statement can be flipped on him. Ahmed Hussen, do you remember the one that we saw with Omar Algebra also refusing to answer a question from also a Rebel News journalist? I just want to play the arrogant, misogynist pomposity coming out of Ahmed Hussen's filthy mouth. Listen to this walking, talking piece of trash.
Heard, mister, about
Listen to the disdain.
Israeli government.
Look at that face right there. That disgusting scowl. You're not a journalist, woman. I don't have to talk to you.
I don't talk to
warning?
Rebel News. No, you're not a real
You-
journalist.
you-
not real news. Leave us alone. It's not real news.
I'm sorry. Do you believe that
Can you leave me alone?
the public servants should be accountable?
Leave me alone.
Do you believe on the freedom of press? Do you believe on freedom of the press?
You're not a real journalist.
You're not a
Stop
real
pretending to be
In
one.
my country,
What do you
you
mean
don't have to
we are
talk
not?
to it.
You're not.
Women
We
don't
are
talk
bringing-
back to me like this. 20% of Canadian MPs, give or take, born outside of Canada. Ahmed Hussen, born in Mogadishu. You're not a real journalist. And some might say, Ahmed, you're not a real Canadian. Oh, you see how that works? Oh, no, that would be mean and racist. But looking at her, looking down at her, a lowly woman in Canadian media. No, she's not a real journalist, Ahmed, but you are a real Canadian. You are a MP. Holy crab apples. It's enraging. If you don't know who Ahmed Hussen is, let me just bring up an interesting statement he had a while back after the the October 7 attacks, when he had to make a statement about allegations against staff of the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine refugees in the Near East, that they had a hand in the atrocity that was October 7th. Statement, January 26, 2024, Ottawa, Ontario, Global Affairs Canada. The Honorable, excuse me, if you have to say that you're honorable, you're not honorable, Ahmed Hussen. Minister of International Development today issued the following statement. Quote, today I spoke directly with Commissioner General Philippe Lazzarini of the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine refugees in the Near East, UNRWA, to express Canada's alarm about allegations of his agency's staff being involved in Hamas's brutal terrorist attack against Israel on October 7, 2023. Canada is taking these reports extremely seriously and is engaging closely with the UNRWA and other donors on the issue. Canada welcomes United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres' direction that the UNRWA swiftly investigate these extremely serious allegations. Canada has temporarily paused any additional funding to UNRWA while it undertakes a thorough investigation into these allegations. Should these allegations prove to be accurate, Canada expects UNRWA to immediately act against those determined to have been involved in Hamas's terrorist attacks. As UNRWA undertakes this investigation, Canada will not reduce its support to the people of Gaza. Canada will continue to work with other partners to provide life-saving assistance to civilians in Gaza. Canada remains deeply concerned by the humanitarian crisis in Gaza and continues to call for the rapid, sustained, and unimpeded passage of essential relief so that it can reach those in need. We urge all parties to uphold international and humanitarian. Kind of late for that, Ahmed. It's kind of late for that after October 7th. Whatever you think weaknesses did not intervene in time, or worse. Kind of late. Oh, what's that? The same organization that you've been funding money to, actively involved in it? Well, we're going to look into these allegations and then we're going to do probably nothing. I just saw a comment in the chat that said, F Canada. You have no idea how bad it is. You have no idea how bad it is. I'm not saying F Canada as in I have any disdain or animosity for it or I wish ill on it. It has fallen. And whereas we say, Canada is falling, Canada has fallen, it has fallen and it fell a long time ago. And now we're only realizing just how far back it has fallen. 20%, 17 to 20% of Canadian MPs are born outside of Canada. You have people representing Canada who are not Canadian. Oh, now they're naturalized citizens. You have 20% of politicians who were born in foreign countries now representing Canada. And I dare say if you think it's a negative the way I say it, well, that's because you have this preconceived stereotype in your head. Foreign people entering countries are going to bring with them the culture of the countries from which they are emigrating. It's the way it is. If you think that's a bad thing, or if you think that I say that and you should interpret it as a bad thing, that's on you, not on me. They will import culture, practices, maybe the misogynistic practice of looking down on women and not having to answer their questions. 20% of Canadian MPs not born in Canada. What do you think that's going to do to a country? You think that's going to impact policy? Top 5 countries importing immigrants to Canada right now. Oh, and by the way, the Canadian government has finally recognized that the mass importation of student visas has put Canadians out of work, has allowed for the exploitation of cheap labor. Oh, it's amazing. They finally now admit what we've been saying for the last however many years. Canada fell, and it fell a long time ago. And if you had any lingering doubts, he's not even, I don't want to say a mole up in Canada because he's not a mole. He's just one of the best sources of info and intel. Some of it's new, some of it's old. This one happens to be over 5 years old. I see this video, and as I'm freaking out watching it because I can't believe that it's real, I looked at it over 5 years ago. Gurdeep Pandher, who's a Punjab artist, author, teacher. This is real. This is real, people. And it's from 5 years ago. If anyone had any doubts as to when exactly Canada became an actual national security threat for America, it's been at least 5 years. Gurdeep Pandher is doing a Punjab music dance with the Canadian Armed Forces. Now, if that in and of itself, and by the way, notice the part of the video where they're literally Punjab dancing in front of a burning helicopter in the backdrop. Just let that sink in for a second. Set all of the Punjab aspect aside. I don't consider myself to be, in UFC fighting condition, but I fancy myself mildly in shape. If I had to run 50 miles, I could run 50 miles. In fact, I did run 50 miles for anybody who doesn't. Go look it up, Bear Mountain. I ran a 50-mile ultra marathon in 12 hours and 14 minutes. Look at the fitness of some of the people in this. Now, maybe you don't have to be in the tip top of, Ronda Rousey level physique, Conor McGregor level physique to be in the Canadian Armed Forces, but just look at the level of readiness and lethality that one can surmise from this video of Gurdeep Pandher dancing Punjab dances and music to celebrate the diversity of the Canadian Armed Forces.
Are you ready? First, pick up your left leg up like
This is real.
And bring it back. Up and back. Up and back. Up, 4, 3.
Don't mean to fat shame anyone. To observe that if this is the Canadian Armed Forces, I certainly hope that maybe they're like big country Roy Nelson. They'll surprise you with their physical acumen. They hide it behind a gut.
Oi, chak chakla, chak de fatte de chak chakla.
What the hell is going on? I will not swear. I will not use the Lord's name in vain. I'm going to actually use Satan's name appropriately. What in the name of sweet, satanic, holy hell are we watching? I'm not going to play the whole thing. They're dancing in front of a burning helicopter. This literally looks like terrorist propaganda. I mean, I don't even know what the rationale. What was the thought process here? Haha, it's going to look really good if Canadian Armed Forces are doing a Punjab dance in front of a burning helicopter. You have diversity of stupidity at the Canadian Armed Forces. Let me just skip to the end here. Because it goes on. Canada is in big looking trouble. So I'm going to share this with everybody. And I want to highlight something. If one were intending to infiltrate, weaken for the purposes of taking over a foreign country, what would they do? They would have one of their assets come in and put out a propaganda video that would be so utterly demoralizing and humiliating in the public's eye, in the international community's eye, but have them think that they're celebrating their own greatness. That's exactly how you would do it. You wouldn't do it by way of like Chinese military operation. You would have it by way of slow infiltration, demoralization from within, and then get a performer, a comic, a dancer to come in and say, no, guys, we're not making you look stupid. We're making you look super duper ultra mega lethal ready because you're so diverse. You've got people of all physical attributes. You've got people of all shapes and sizes. And you're dancing to Punjab, and it's good. So go ahead and blast it to the world. Holy hell. That's 5 years ago. What do you think has happened since then? Mark Carney got elected. The Liberals got more seats, and Canada is on life support, if it's not already long gone. India air bombing 1985 was the warning Canada wouldn't hear. You got members of Canadian Parliament who are terrorist sympathizers. You got Ahmed Hussen putting out a very stern statement against the UNRWA active participation in October 7. You got Jagmeet Singh, who is a Khalistani terrorist sympathizer who can't go back to India because of his terrorist sympathizing leanings. This is Canada. And they put together that and utterly mock the Canadian Armed Forces. And then they wonder why people aren't signing up. Then they wonder why people are not being recruited. And then they wonder why Canada, a country of 40 million people that has a landmass bigger than that of America, less than that of Russia, has what, 15, 20,000 service members ready to protect a country of 40 million? You know, Mark Carney was going around saying Canada's not for sale. It doesn't have to be for sale to be for the taking. And Canada is for the taking now, if it has not already been taken.